Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. And wrapping it up, we have Eric Clark, the soul speaker and author. He's here to soulfully help you craft your story and narrative. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the fam.
Right.
There she go right there. Grand Rising, Cassandra Terry from the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Look at that.
Hello, fam. Hello,
Look at
fam.
that.
Hello.
Grand Rising.
Oh yeah,
Grand Rising, brothers.
she was dolled up yesterday too.
Mm-hmm.
I told her she's giving me a run for my money. So today, I got my
I'm
jacket.
representing my best Bangalore fashion.
Oh, look at that. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are, for sure.
I even put I put a little thing here. But
Hey,
yeah,
mother, I see you.
Mama J, she's in the house. Awesome.
Mama J is in the house.
Great to see everybody. Good to see you. See, man. I hope you're having a good time out there. Is everything okay? You got everything squared away with work, and are
Ev-
you?
Everything is all squared away. Life is good.
Great.
And we're getting up early in the morning and we're flying from Bangalore to Kochi. And we're going to spend the day there. And just today, we'll fly back tomorrow evening. And then tomorrow night, Friday night, we leave, making our way back to the U.S.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Safe travels. Safe travels.
Has it been
Thank you.
fun?
Thank you.
Has it been
It
fun
has
so
been
far?
fun. Absolutely. Great food, great people.
There you
We've
go.
been having a good time. Yep.
There you go.
Friday, we're going to a safari. I'm going to try my best to ride an elephant.
There you go.
Wow. Man, look at you. I don't remember that the list that you had, your bucket list, but I don't know, was elephant riding on that one?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Living out loud is on there. So that can
There we
fall in
go.
the living out loud
There we
bucket.
go.
That's great. That's great. And I think
Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Sonia.
yeah, hey everybody. Good morning, Cynthia, Sonia. Awesome to see everybody. You know, um it really kind of ties into today's quote. It takes a person who is wide awake to make his or her dream come
Or
true.
her. Hallelujah.
Yeah. So
Yes,
that's
mother, an elephant.
Mama J saying, "Oh Lord, elephant."
I drive her crazy. She calls me her daredevil child.
Oh man. Yep. So today's quote's from Mr. Roger Babson. If y'all don't know who that is, um, quick Google search. He was actually a financial guru back in the day in the early 1900s. Um, and so a lot of what he was doing, he wanted to help people and help grow their finances. He was looking into making sure that, they were good in business, education, health, industry, politics, religion, um, and just everything else, including travel.
Mm.
Yeah. And a couple of things he did was he created Babson College. I think that's out in Massachusetts, and
Hmm.
also Weber College. Um, and Babson College is they're geared towards they're a financial college institution, right? So they focus on the financial industry, in business and that type of stuff. Good stuff. And but he really created a legacy, not only for his immediate family, but for people who wanted to grow, um, in the financial industry. But the part about travel kind of talks or speaks to where you are. And when we talk about Wake Up Wednesday, we always talk about intentionality. But intentionality starts with having that mindset, um,
Hmm.
being being wide awake, right? It doesn't necessarily just mean being awake to physically take care of realizing your dream, but maybe being wide awake mentally, with your mindset, so that you can realize those dreams. um, and you're, you being in India and going on that safari, and yeah, and I just see the picture or the video of you on an elephant. This is
Mhm.
the realization of a dream, right? Of being able to travel and living out loud,
Mhm.
um,
Hmm.
with that intentionality. So, uh, I know you're just joining us, kind of checking in with us, but you got a few minutes just to kind of share your
I
thoughts.
do.
Okay,
I
cool.
do. I've finished the workday, so I'm just chilling down in the lobby right now. Actually, before I go up and do whatever comes next, get ready for that trip in the morning. So I love the quote. I hadn't seen it before I joined right now. So it takes a person who is wide awake to make his or her dream come true. I love it, and the reason I love it is because it shares what I talk about all the time, which is how much power we have within. Being awake is a choice, and we're making choices all the time, and you can do the work internally. You can do the work to fall in love with you, to believe in you, to get the clarity you need to create a plan and a dream for your life, or a dream for your life and a plan to accomplish it. And then once you have that, now it's just a matter of putting in the energy, doing the work, taking the steps, making the choices day by day, decision by decision, choice by choice, doing the things that support what it is that you say you want. If you don't like the way your life is right now, get really quiet, get really still with yourself, and do some introspection. There's a whole lot of things that are going on outside of you that you absolutely can't change, right? But what you can change is your mindset. You can change how you see yourself. You can wake up to the power that's within you. And then through focus and intentionality, you can determine how you're going to live your life. It all starts with a decision. And if you choose the life that you desire, and then you're willing to do the work to get there, there's absolutely nothing that you can't change. There's no circumstances that you can't overcome, and there's nothing that will stop you from getting from where you are to where it is that you desire to be, if you're willing to do the hard stuff, if you're willing to say no to things that are going to take you off track, if you're willing to say yes to things that, even though they're hard, they're going to help you get where it is you want to go. Each one of those are choices, and the choice lives within you. You have the power to make those decisions. But first, you have to get really honest with the person in the mirror You have to be willing to look at and get clear about what you want. And you have to be clear about what you're doing with your life. How am I spending my time? What choices am I making? Who am I surrounding myself with? And as you answer those questions, you have to assess for yourself, are the choices that I'm making getting me where it is I want to go? And if the answer is not yes, then you see there's your opportunity for change right there. Somebody is singing karaoke in the hall, y'all. Let me put my other headphone in. She sounds really good. She's good, but can y'all hear that? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's make it better. All right. So yeah, at the end of the day, it really comes down to the choices that we make and assessing each day whether or not they're going to take us where it is we want to go. So that's what I wanted to share. Being awake means being awake to you, being aware of the decisions that you're making, and putting your focus and your energy into the things that will help you have the life that you desire. That's it, Jay. I'll pitch it back to you.
Thank you. She's not bad though. Yeah, I'm just here in the background.
She sounds really good.
Yeah, right. But um, what's even better is the message you got um, for us today. Absolutely, the intentionality, the focus, um, finding out what sits with you and how that can propel you forward. Um, and it starts with that intentionality. It starts with that focus to be able to realize those dreams. Roger Babson, I'm pretty sure um, was determined. He was determined during his lifetime to make a difference, make an impact. Um, Absolutely, try to make some money too. Let's be real, because he was in the financial industry, but his writings, like he was also an avid reader and writer during his lifetime, and um, he wrote a lot about business. But a lot of what his writings also covered were those things I talked about, like business, education, health, industry, politics, religion, social conditions, and travel. But if if he didn't care about those things and want to write about those things, then it was, obviously his focus would be primarily on the financial industry. But because he did, it showed his interest in working and helping individuals, but also society in general. Um, why else would you create a college, right? Two colleges, not just one, two colleges. He created two colleges to be able to um, impact society. You want to be able to make sure that you're teaching the values that are important to you and you think others could benefit from. And what better way to do that than to have these two colleges? I think he actually created three, and one of those didn't actually succeed past the 70s, but there are still two that remain. And I think it's important that w- we look at that, because it really does show that he was looking at the broader impact to society, right? And and along with having your dream of helping improve your life and the lives of your loved ones, you know, the the fact that he was thinking about society as a whole and how he could have an impact there, it's taking his dream to a whole other level. And you know, I can say that as somebody who admires my sister C, my sister Cassandra, you know, being a mindset coach kind of falls in line with Roger Babson, right? With being a mindset coach, you are trying to teach others the value and values of self improvement, right? Helping others in the broader sense, not just yourself. You know, we we always we always talk amongst each other about monetization, right? And that, but there's also wealth building in relationships and partnerships and making that impact as well. And as a mindset coach, I've heard, many times your discussions and your insights and your perspectives, and truly at the center and at the core of it, when we're talking about being a mindset coach and having maybe mindset shifts, that ultimately you're teaching others to be able to have a positive impact on others as well. So it's just this exponential effect. Um, and while I want to get a little bit more into it, I can like Brian says all the time, I can talk about this stuff all day. And you know, I think I'll stop here and then I'll pick it up with the Bible verse in a little bit. But um, Eric, I want to kind of pitch it to Eric and get his thoughts and opinions on the quote and what you were
I was
talking
ready for the Bible verse. I was,
about.
I'm
Go
ready
ahead, man.
for Proverbs with Pascal, right? What is it? Pascal Proverbs?
Yeah.
I'm ready for you, brother.
I'm having some technical difficulties. Please stand by.
No worries, no worries, no worries. The one thing that I'll say, Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Is
thank you.
that when you were talking, I was thinking about the ripple effect. That's really what you're talking about. You know, when you drop a pebble, that ripple just keeps going and going and going. And when we take the time to pour into others, you may only see, if you are lucky enough to see the impact on that one individual. But that individual is going to change. And in their changing, they impact those around them, who in turn impact those around them. And it just keeps going. So, one random act of kindness, one moment, one kind word shared with somebody, slowing down enough to lift somebody up when they're struggling. You just never know what you may do for that individual, but that's just the beginning of the story, because that individual now takes that within them and they do with it what they will. And that ripple, I think, is exactly what, that's what I was visualizing, Jay, as you were talking. We drop that small pebble, and before you know it, there's waves, right? Because it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. The rivers, the lakes, the oceans, they find the water finds its way to the next body of water. It's all connected somehow. And we're no different. We're all connected. And when we take the time to pour goodness into the piece that we know that we're connected to, it keeps going and it flows out just like the river will find its way to the sea. It keeps flowing. And that's why it's so important for us to, one, take good care of ourselves so that we're in a position to pour into others, because we will never know. Maybe that's part of what we get on the other side. Maybe that's part of what heaven is like. You get to see, the roadmap, the dynamic, the impact that you've had while you were here in this short journey called life. While you were here, what did you do with this gift of life that I gave you? I think that's a question we all get to answer one day. And our answer will be much smaller than what we actually did, because we can only see the pebble that we dropped. We don't see that wave that eventually comes as that river makes its way to the connection at the sea. So keep doing well. Don't never grow weary in your good doing. Do well, do good by others, take the time to pour into others, And sometimes we think one person can't make a difference, but that's all it takes. One person is all it takes to make a difference because you've made a difference to that individual that you've taken the time to spend some time with. Sometimes we don't even have to say anything, we just have to be there. And in being there, we give them what they need so that they're able to be in service when they're called upon. And we just keep building, we just keep building, we just keep building. So I was really excited about what you were saying because the whole time you were talking, I was visualizing that ripple.
It's funny. We must be in alignment, and we we must be part of the Fam Five for a
Definitely
reason.
alignment.
Yeah.
That's the title of the email I sent us last night. I'm sure you haven't seen it because it was so late at night, and we don't expect that of each other. But it was literally titled in the subject line. It's "Fill Your Cup."
Oh no, I haven't seen it. I
Yeah,
must look
I'm
for it
sure
when I
you
get
had
a
it. You're
chance.
traveling globetrotting, so it's just the alignment is what I was referring to with that one.
So when you were talking, Cassandra, what I visualized was something I heard many moons ago, and it was also related to water. But so the um the phrase is something like this. Um, you know, we may not think we have an impact because we're we're maybe one tiny raindrop, right? But one tiny raindrop can be amongst other raindrops a mighty ocean. And I was like, oh wow.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so this is this is the thing that comes to mind, the intentionality that Roger Babson had in making that impact, making that step towards affecting or impacting society. And it started with with him first building up his financial um, prowess, but then sharing that knowledge with others. Right? It started there. I'm always encouraging others to share their story. And I'm always saying, maybe your story could be the blueprint for someone else. Right. These are the things that I always talk about. And I think that's the importance of sharing your story and storytelling. And and so uh Eric, I'm gonna go ahead, man. I'm gonna move it because the spirit is moving me. So I'm gonna talk about the Bible verse here real quick.
Let's go. Move, Holy Spirit. Move, Holy Spirit.
So um Matthew chapter 5 verse 16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. And so what does that have to do with anything? Um it's about intentionality. And so I'm gonna get deep on this. I've got like a bunch of stuff I'm gonna talk about. Because I was feeling that maybe we may be short some members of the Fam Five. So I got some things to say. I got some things to say this morning. Um, One of the things is when I think about the Bible verse, it's as far as intentionality, what that means, it involves being purposeful, right, in your actions and aligned. We talk about alignment, right? Aligned with one's values and goals. So the first thing I'm thinking about is defining your values. Identify your core values and beliefs. What principles are guiding your life right now? Knowing your values allows you to have a foundation for intentional living, right? Defining, knowing, right, what your values are. Then once you've determined that, set clear goals. Set up those short term and long term goals. Goals should align Is that word again? Align with your values and help you live purposefully. So when you think about that, right, you're reflecting. So reflect on a regular basis, right? Meditate. Take time to reflect on your actions and decisions. Consider whether they align with your values and goals. Regular reflecting helps you stay on track and make necessary adjustments if you need to. If you need to pivot because things aren't aligning, then pivot. But you're not going to know that unless you reflect upon it. Identify your light, right? Take time to reflect on your actions, right? But also determine the unique qualities and talents and strengths you possess. Identifying that light, right? So when you're reflecting, determine those qualities. Your light represents what you can contribute to the world, your value to others. Understand how you can use those attributes to positively impact others, like I was talking about. And then practice kindness and compassion. Actively seek ways to perform good deeds. And I'm not talking like, um, buy a whole meal at a fancy restaurant, right? That's probably going to be, $60, for the first course. That's not what I'm talking about. Acts of kindness and compassion can be, the simplest things. Opening the door for somebody, who may need help, right? Somebody who's carrying groceries and you just happen to be right there at the right time. Right? Maybe help them carry the groceries once you've opened the door, you know. Um, you see somebody walking their dog and their shoes are not yet tied, you gotta let me hold your dog. Go ahead and tie your shoe, something, right? These little things can really be helpful to somebody, and you might not even know just how much that help can mean to someone. So acts of kindness and compassion not only benefits others though, but also contributes to your sense of purpose, that value and that fulfillment. And when you're doing these things, do it selflessly, right? Engage in these acts of service without expecting anything in return. Everybody, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, that kind of stuff. But when you really look at the Bible verse, it really focuses on benefiting others and bringing glory to God, right? Service, serving others. The other thing in living intentionally, I told you I was going to get deep. Is building authentic relationships. We talk about it all the time. Genuine community, right? Um, Especially on LinkedIn, we we're cultivating genuine connections with others, authentic relationships. They allow you to share your light and inspire others to do the same. Right. That alignment that we have, right? What what Cassandra was saying earlier about the ripple effect and me thinking immediately about the raindrop. This is this is what we're talking about. We have this alignment, but we won't know that we're aligned unless we share, and growing in that relationship, that those authentic relationships, those genuine communities that we're trying to build. Um, this is how we support intentional living with others involved. The other thing is be mindful of your influence. That recognize that your actions and words have an impact on those around you.
Ooh, that's a big one, bro. That's a big one.
That's how do you do that, right? When you're living intentionally, understand just how much power you have when you're openly sharing your perspective and insight. But that means living in a way that positively influence others, encouraging them to pursue a purposeful life themselves. Like I was saying about sharing your stories and sharing that blueprint with others. The next one I think is kind of is going to be even harder than that one.
Before you jump to the next one,
What
can
you
I
got?
say something about that one? Because
Oh yeah.
that one is so important. Every one of us, I don't care who you are, I don't care what your role is, I don't care how you see yourself. There is somebody that's looking at you as their example right now, and there always will be. We all have influence, and if we could take that seriously, maybe it's your children, maybe it's the neighbor's kids down the street because you're the one that kind of pays attention to them when nobody else does. Maybe it's somebody on your job that sees something in you and they just they gravitate towards you and they don't even know why. There is nobody on this earth that does not have influence. Do some of us have the ability to Some of us have an influence to access a larger group. When you start showing up on social media, when we're talking, sometimes we've got people from all over the world that show up and say hello. So we have the opportunity to be heard by a larger group. But you are influential in the circle that you are in right now. And when you take that seriously, it makes you mindful about how you show up. If you know that somebody's looking to you for direction, they're looking for you to understand how to show up. There's this little boy who you're the only example of what it is to be a man. There's this little girl who looks at me and that's all she knows of what's possible as a woman or as a woman of color. There's people that are looking at us and thinking, how can I be successful in my business and true to my Christian beliefs? How do I show up as the Christian that I am and not be offensive to others who have different belief systems? It goes on and on and on. We all have influence, but we all don't decide to take it on. When we live our lives recklessly, when we just show up and do what we want, how we want, to whomever we want, that ripple is still there. Whether you bring pour goodness or you pour negativity into somebody, the ripple is still there. And what your encounter with them could be the very thing to make them go in another direction, run away from the church, run away from relationship, not feel good about themselves. So we have to take this thing seriously. There are, you guys know I'm in India. We were talking about that on the front end, and I decided while I was here to have a special meeting with the women who work for IBM here. And so I had my first session with them today in this city, and tomorrow I'll be meeting with the ladies in the city that we're flying to in the morning. Y'all, I had no idea. I walked in the room, everybody stood up. They're clapping, they're looking at me like, I may look at one of my favorite celebrities. And and they said, as soon as you walked in, we knew you were different. Like when we were talking afterwards. And I was like, different? What do you mean? They were like, well, first of all, we thought you were gonna come in a suit. And instead you're wearing what we wear. Your clothes are so, well, you look so good in our clothes. and you look so comfortable. You look happy in our clothes. I said, I am. I said, in the first day, I didn't on purpose wear your clothes because I needed to know how you felt about people who are not you wearing your clothes. And they were like, oh, we feel so honored. It feels so nice that you would dress like us. And I said, well, I love dressing like you. It's so comfortable and I can, relax and just be. But it meant something to them. I realized as I was talking to this group of women, they were looking at me as a person of influence because I've been in this company for 24 years. I've had some good accomplishments here. I've risen in the ranks to some of the places where they would like to be. And if I wasn't mindful of that, I could say some things to them that could be detrimental to their careers. I could say some things that could hold them back instead of lifting them up. So I think sometimes we're so accustomed to being who we are and moving how we move that we don't ever stop and take stock of how we may be affecting other people. And other people are absolutely affected by you. Every time I call you, what's our conversation? Are we laughing and having a joyous conversation, or is it always negative or something always wrong? You're affecting me, right? If you tell me something about you, you come to me in confidence, you think it's a safe place, and the next thing you know, I'm blurting it out in public. I've affected you, right? We make decisions every day, not only for ourselves. As much as I talk about us doing the inner work, I'm not saying it's all about us. I'm saying we need to be the best version of ourselves so that we can positively impact as many people as possible. Because we do have influence, even when we don't know. There's people looking at me that I don't know are looking at me, right? There are people who have their eyes on you that you don't know have their eyes on you. Integrity is what happens when nobody's looking or when you think nobody's looking, because somebody's always looking. But when you do the right thing, because it's the right thing to do, regardless of whether or not there's anybody there to cheer you on and notice that you're doing the right thing, you're being intentional. You set a standard for yourself and you're walking and moving within that standard. That's what it's about. Because as you're doing that, you're going to be making a bigger and bigger and bigger ripple than you could ever imagine. I can't tell y'all how many messages I have. These people, we love you. We love you so much. You're so bubbly. You're so joyful, and you're a woman. And I was like, that's right. I'm a woman in power that's not trying to look like a man in power. I've got my bling. I've got my fun stuff. I'm nurturing. I'm here to help you with your career. You're important to me. And I'm hoping that when you have the opportunity that you'll do the same thing for somebody else. But first of all, you have to know who you are and be okay with it. There was a time where I would never say I was a person in power because it sounded bragging and it just sounded wrong. But whether I say it or not doesn't change the fact that there's a lot of people within the walls of my company that look up to me for how to get things done as a female in a male dominated environment. I had to maneuver that. I had to figure it out. So I got some stuff I can share with people who are coming behind me. I'm getting on the end of my career. I'm 55. I'm closer to retirement than anything. So I should be taking what I've learned and sharing that with other people, but not just talking, not just saying what I want to say for the sake of being heard, but actually trying to share with people and understanding that what I say, people take it and run with it. It has some value because of what I've accomplished up to this point. So they automatically assume that it has value. How dare I not give them value, right? If people are going to take the time out of their day to come and sit around a table just to hear me talk, I need to be prepared. And Jay, that's what I want to say to you right now. Because Jay thought that he might be, going solo tonight. But look how prepared he is. He was prepared by the points that he shared up until this point. He was prepared to carry this entire situation, this entire Cassandra Terry Morning Show on his shoulders, on his own, points in hand, ready to share with you guys as much as he could. That's intentional.
With a positive
Other
attitude.
with a thank you, Eric. Absolutely. With a positive attitude. He's not upset that people aren't here. He's not upset that I'm on the other side of the world and it's falling on him and Eric to get it done. There's usually 5 or 6 of us, right? But everybody's life is lifing, and life is calling people in different directions. Does it mean that they don't value what's going on here? No, but it does mean that they have something of higher value right now that is calling their attention. Respect. I put respect on that. But I also put respect, Jay, on how prepared you are to carry this on your own if you had to, right? Absolutely respect that, and so proud that you handled it the way that you handled it. Be- because you're in a point in your life where life is lifing for you too. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff going on with you. You talked about it a little bit, but yet here you are, points in hand, ready to share with anybody who showed up to listen. That speaks to the character of the man. That speaks to the character of the man. And that doesn't fall short on me. I mean, I see you, I feel you, I respect you, I appreciate you. Because we could have said, you know what, there's so much going on tonight and she not here, so we just not going to even do it. We'll just cancel. But you showed up, and people are here, and they're, from the comments that we're getting, what's happening is resonating with them. And so, Eric, you're here. Sometimes being present is all that there is to it. Like I said earlier, sometimes all you can do is show up and sit next to somebody who's going through something. You may not have the answer, you might not have the right things to say, but just by your presence, you speak volumes. You spoke a whole encyclopedia tonight, Eric, just by being here, right? Whether or not you're going to share tonight or not, totally up to you. But you've said a whole lot just by the fact that you're present and accounted for. And you're saying that you're making room to stick to this commitment and be here for those who show up and to support Jay. Because I know you guys never know if I'm going to show up just because I'm on the other side of the world right now. It's your morning. It's my evening. It's about 7:30, 8 p.m. I don't even know. So, all that we're talking about, it's important to talk about it, but you guys are actually being about it. You're modeling that in your presence and in how you showed up and in what you're prepared to share with everybody. So before I went too far, I just wanted to drop that to you guys and make sure that y'all that y'all know that I recognize that it's not easy. It's early in the morning, all kind of stuff is going on in your life, but you still made the decision. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's no slight to those that are here because I know what they've got going on too, and that's the priority for them. But I certainly appreciate y'all making this a priority and keeping it going while I'm on the other side of the globe. Absolutely. All right,
Yes.
Jay, I'll kick it back.
Well, that's what family does, right? We show up for each other, and we definitely are family. You know what I mean? We may not be family in blood, but we are in name, and that means a lot to me. You know,
Yeah,
I
because it's
second
not
that.
always the family. You don't get to choose the family that you're born to. You don't get to choose your DNA, but you
Hmm.
absolutely get to choose your circle and the people that you spend your time with, be it blood or not. You get to choose that part of your family, and we made a choice. We chose each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
so before I kick it on over to Eric, I'm gonna close with one more bit of information. And so we talked about being mindful of your influence, and Cassandra just poured into us about that specific topic. But I'm gonna end it with this one:
Hmm.
encourage others to shine.
Hmm.
Living intentionally means helping others, support and uplift those around you. And Cassandra Terry just was the epitome of that example,
Hmm.
encouraging others to discover and share their unique gifts. Like,
Hmm.
foster a community of people who shine their light. You can contribute to a collective positive impact, a collective. And um, I've made it a point to um, to talk about us as a collective because we are, and but here we are, right? We're as a collective pouring into one another and pouring into those who are listening and watching us, and that's intentional.
Mhm.
We want to be able to be the example, to have that positive impact um, in our personal lives, in our lives ourselves, but also in others. So, with all that being said, Eric, um, talk to us, brother. What is coming up for you?
Brother, you know how you are. You so smooth. Um, I feel like if you got the music queued up, that's the way we need to end. Because I'll just echo what you said. Encourage others to shine. That's if you're feeling any way that you're not shining, encourage others to shine. And so it's your words are beautiful, man. I appreciate it, and you certainly were filling my cup today. So um, yeah, yeah, that's where I am, brother. I certainly also want to appreciate my sister Cassandra for always emphasizing that it's okay to show up and pass because sometimes you don't, you're empty, and just in your presence you're echoing what is your ability, right? So don't force yourself to do anything other than show up authentically, as my brother would say, live in the city of authenticity. And so uh, that's where I am today, brother. So um, just grateful to be here. I'm looking forward to um, um, us getting together as soon as we can. When Sister Sandra comes back, Cassandra comes back, and we can all get back together because it's been a while. I it feel like it's been a long while, but we were certainly happy and appreciative you're enjoying yourself, and we wish you nothing but safe travels, and looking forward to you returning stateside with us, sis.
I am looking forward to being back, but not before I get to this safari.
Oh, no doubt,
The
no
light,
doubt. I can't wait
I'm,
to see the
I
pictures.
am, I am still here. The lights go out here a lot. The electricity, see, the lights are just going off and on. It just happens. It happened at the office a few times, and I've learned. Mother, if my mom was here, I laughed at you, mom. When the lights went out the other day, I was like, if my mom was here, she probably would have ran into the wall trying to get out of there. But she is the very reason why I do some of the crazy stuff I do.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I get a kick out of getting a rise out of her. She calls me her daredevil child. But
Hmm.
that's why y'all see me, and then y'all don't, because the electricity just keeps flashing out. But Eric, what I want to say to you is, sometimes you have to keep filling your cup. If the downpour doesn't come and it's going to take drip by drip, then you just have to be patient with yourself and allow your cup to be refilled. And then and only then do you really have anything to share with anybody else other than your presence. But just know that that's enough.
Hmm.
That's more than enough. And sometimes you physically might not be able to do the presence thing, so you just say, "Hey, thinking about you." That's enough,
Hmm.
right? You just do what you feel is what you're capable of doing
Hmm.
unapologetically. That is my word for 2024, guys.
Hmm.
It's already ringing in my ear. It's
Yes,
unapologetic. I'm showing up
yes.
as me, doing the best version of me, the best way that I know how,
Hmm.
unapologetically. So when my energy is high, I'm not apologizing for that. When the
Hmm.
light is shining bright, if you get your sunglasses, if it's uncomfortable, I'm not
Hmm.
apologizing for that. When I'm on my low, I'm not apologizing for that. I'm gonna do what I need to do
Hmm.
to plug in and re-energize. And we all deserve that.
Hmm.
There's nobody that doesn't deserve that. So when you're down, accept the hugs, accept the love, accept the flowers, and use that as fuel, and find your way back to 100% Eric, and then you're in a
Absolutely.
position to give.
Thank
Until
you,
then,
sis.
just keep filling, refilling.
Hmm.
It takes however long it takes.
Right.
Absolutely. I've had to learn really to accept that too from different places. Like my grandmother transitioning, I really have received more from her now, and so learning and being open to receiving from different places has been a lesson. So grateful, super grateful for you and having the best mindset coach in the world in my corner to help me remember and be mindful of those.
I want to I want to talk a little bit though about the the message you were bringing in earlier, with our influence. And I was going to say there was there was an interaction I had, a couple of months ago, and the interaction said I was doing something that wasn't very positive, that I was being almost negative in my interaction with people in a LinkedIn live audio event. Um, and it almost sounded like I was trying to silence the voice of an individual. Um, and if you know me, and the reason mm, the title is The Storytelling Strategist, it's because I want others to share their story, and I want to pour into somebody that wants to be poured into, right? Who wants to be able to share that story. And if you need my help, I'm going to do my darndest to help you get there. Now, my immediate knee jerk reaction was I felt upset because that totally goes against the grain of what I'm trying to do. I've made it not only my passion, but I've made it my purpose. And so understanding my influence, I said, "Nah, let me just calm down. Let me just calm down. I'm a human being though. Give me some grace. Hold on a minute." So I just said, "Okay, well, let me just recoup." And then I just responded. I just responded. I sent a little DM and I was like, "Yo, this is
Instead
what's
of
going on."
reacting, responding instead of
Instead of
reacting.
reacting. Exactly. This is what Cassandra talks about all the time. And so I responded. And then I continue. Here's the thing, understanding my influence and being intentional, I went purposely in my discussions following that and kept on with the message over and over and over again. Share your story. It's a blueprint. It's going to help somebody out. It's going to provide them the opportunity to move through whatever adversity they're moving through, or just show them that there is a way to just go about your daily life. And I said it over and over and over again because I understand that purpose. I understand that influence that I have. And so I'm going to be consistent and you're going to see it. And so that DM, that message, that response is going to come through as truth because you're going to see it in my actions and you're going to see it in my intentionality and you're going to see it in my purpose. The title ain't just something that I threw up there without thinking. I actually brought it to the Fam 5 and we came together in alignment and I said this is my purpose. So anything contrary to that, bring it to my attention. Absolutely. I'm going to appreciate everything that comes at me. and I'm going to respond, not react. And that is intentionality. That is living a purposeful life. So I think that's where I'm going to end, um, because you're right. We have to live unapologetically. As long as we're consistent in our purpose and we're intentional, why do I need to apologize for that?
And one of the things that we have to remember in that intentionality, we can't control how other people perceive or receive us. But when you know who you are, you are not deterred by someone else's misinterpretation, and you understand that sometimes that's more about what they've been through than what you're bringing. You may be triggering something. That happens to me all the time. Sometimes I'm like, why am I reacting like this? And I realize that I'm not just reacting to the current situation, but I'm some old memory, some old hurt, some old junk that I haven't purged yet has gotten stirred up. And so the best that we can do is exactly that. Give grace, give ourselves time to receive what's been the experience and the feedback. Yes, you want to do that, but you don't allow anybody else to define you and define your intentions. You know who you are. And from that point, you're in a position to be helpful in that situation if allowed. But you're not going to pour oil on the fire, right? You're not going to make it worse than what it was because you're in a position where you need to defend yourself. I don't need to defend myself. I am who I am. If you see somebody different, adjust your glasses. Now you can show me when I've stepped off track. And if you bring that to me, well, you can help me evolve because you can show me something that I might not see, but that's not the same as allowing you to define who I am and you to define what my intentions are. We may have gotten crossways. It may not have landed the way I intended, so we can work through that. But that's just a situation. That doesn't have you defining who I am and how I show up in the world.
All good points. All good points. And as a person who is wide awake and living life intentionally, once you understand who you are, what your values are, those things that normally would come at you and maybe hurt you in some type of way, because you are living intentionally, because you are living in your purpose, because you know what your values are, it's going to roll right off. It's going to roll right off, you know. So let's kind of meditate, right? We were talking about meditation earlier, reflecting, right? Living intentionally. Let's reflect on that. Let's reflect on our values, where we are, who we are, and don't be deterred by your haters. Um, the other day, you know, I guess I'm rubbing off on folks because my kids are like, they hate you because they ain't you. you so I'm like, yay, that's great. So just know that, just be confident in yourself, and when you live intentionally, that confidence is going to show through. But I think that we're going to go ahead and end on that. Cassandra, you go rest. You got to be up early. Thank you for
Real
being here.
early.
Take care, sister. Thank you so much. Safe
All right.
travels.
Thanks,
Take care,
guys.
sis.
All right.
Have
Thank
a
All
great
you.
one.
Bye-bye. Bye.
right. So we're gonna make sure we end with our little exit. Let's hear
Outro
that.
music.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another episode. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.
From Studio B. live in Los Angeles.